And action.
So this one, I believe, has internally pipped also. And I just went in and I checked it, I candled it and made sure that it was pipped, and it has. The trouble with that we've been having so far is that we cannot keep our humidity up in our incubator. We've had to help every single one of our chicks hatch, and the ones that we have not helped hatch have not made it. So I'm gonna just help this little feller too. I can feel him trying to tap out, and I can see that there's an air sac right there, so that's where I'm gonna start. And I just take my
Tweezers.
Yes, take the tweezers and just very, very carefully try and make a little hole in the shell. Just a little hole.
And you hear a chicken in the background laying an egg.
Okay, now you can see right there I have got enough chipped out that I can get this tweezers underneath there and start barely chipping away the shell. You want to try and chip the shell away and not that membrane. You can see that there's like a hole in here, so if you do get part of that membrane, it's all right. As I'm peeling back this shell, and when I candled it in my closet where it's really dark, I could tell that he pipped out, and I could feel him trying to tap, but the shells and everything are too hard because my humidity is not correct in in our incubator. And you can see when I peeled this back, I was right. He had internally pipped, but just couldn't get the shell open. So if I wouldn't help this chick out, he probably would have died, because that's what happened the first time. So I'm just gonna help him out a little bit more. And just like the other one, I'm just gonna babysit him until later today and just check and see if he's made any progress, which he probably won't. And just like the other ones, we'll have to have some more help. But at least this way, I've got the shell open and he's got his sac open, so he can now get some air. And I'll put him back in the incubator and yeah, buddy. And see how much progress he makes or doesn't make. You can see this big blood vessel, or this vein, is right there, and there's this other one right here. So I'm gonna try and go right. I can't have you can't go that close. I'm gonna go right in between. Very carefully. Can you put this light up just a smidge? There you go. Definitely don't want to cut that vein, because it could bleed to death if you do. So now I've got him opened up a little bit more. Just gonna peel off a little bit more of the shell, being very careful not to peel anything out underneath. I think the trick is just take a little bit at a time and do not hit those big main veins, those vessels in the internal sac, because they bleed to death really, really easy. And usually I play chick noises because it does help them. Seems like it makes them want to come out a little bit faster. That main vein again is right there, so I do not want to go that way. And it will like dry up a little bit within the next couple of hours. It already is dried up a little bit. Ellie, get. Go on.
She's like, what do you got? Hi, Mayo.
Mel, come here.
Get, come on, Mayo.
Come here. Mel.
It's not breakfast for you.
So I think I'll leave it at that and come back in a couple of hours and see how many blood vessels have shrunk up. And then I will be able to trim up some more of this membrane and get him out a little bit more. You can see in there his little foot. His foot's right up there. See his little teeny tiny foot? And his knee. There's his wing and his beak. It's really important that when you're candling one and you know that it has broke this internal membrane, to make sure that you start where the beak is when you start cracking your shell, and just try not to go too fast. Okay, so I have the membrane and all this stuff is pretty much pulled back away from this chick, and I'm just kind of trying to, there's his little elbow, I'm trying to expose his face and his head. So what I got to do now is I pull his little, very gently just pull the wing out. There you go. And then once I got the wing out, now his face is gonna be right there. And if I wanted to continue to pull this chick out, which I will, you just very gently help him get his, help it get its head out. Very gently. Come on, buddy. There we go. He wants to go back in. Come on. There we go. Hey. Alright, now that his head and that wing is out, I'm going to just let him sit, give him a break for a little bit, and see if he can maybe try and make out a little bit more on his own, and that's it. Okay, so you can still see that this little dude's umbilical cord, that yellow stuff or the yolk, is still drying up, so I'm going to go ahead and let that dry up. And if he or she ends up pulling it off, that's and the shell and everything will come off of him when he starts waking up and moving around a little bit more. But as you can see, he's doing really well. And we've had another one start hatching that I've had to assist in that one too. So he's doing good too. But this one's been hatching since yesterday. But like I said, you can see that little yellow yolk stuff. He'll eventually attach from that himself, and I'm not gonna help anymore after this point. He's gonna have to do the rest on his own.
Okay, so they're up and moving, detached from their eggs, and full of life, ready to go out with their
This one,
little brothers and sisters.
this one is completely detached, but this other one is still not
That other one's still
Quite.
attached?
quite yet.
Oh yeah.
He's still dragging it around a little bit.
So what do they do? Just dry it up and then finally it just comes off?
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Kids
it.
are awfully cute.